What's up, traders? Vladimir Rybakov here, and welcome to the weekly Forex forecast by Pipsy.com. Huge week is ahead of us. After the last week, we saw dramatic data coming out on the market. This week is expected to be nothing less. Let's take a look what happened there in the market last week, what is expected on the coming week. So the last week we saw the data started to flow in starting from Monday, where the ISM manufacturing PMI in the US kicked way above 50, which was a fantastic read considering the fact that 2 months in a row it was below. Then a cashier decision in Australia, while the world is fighting to cut the rates, Australia went and hiked the rates under the recent CPI pressure. Then we had a data in the New Zealand job market and the ADP report, which was the preparation for the non-farm payrolls report, which was supposed to be published the last Friday, but due to partial governmental closure, it was postponed to this Wednesday, if there will be no changes. So the ADP report shows that the job market in the US is not in its perfect conditions. We had the rates in UK where they keep the rates. However, more and more members, as you can see here, are voting to cut the rates. Add to that the fact that Stremer might be kicked off and resign and not to be the prime minister anymore. It could shake the pound the coming week as well. Then we had the rates in the Eurozone as well, where they keep it in 2.15%, and it's like all the way to the consumer sentiment. Absolutely fantastic read was above 55. It turned to be 57.3. This week, here is what comes to us. On Sunday, first of all, we just had the lower house elections in Japan, where the prime minister won historical wins way beyond the 300 seats. So that could be a very, very, very interesting coming weeks on the Japanese instruments, as she plans to pass her, I would say, maybe even historically critical for the future decisions on the Japanese yen, pension plans, taxes, and so on. Watch out for the yen pairs. Then it goes all the way to Wednesday, where we should see the non-farm payroll report and the job market data from the US, postponed from last Friday. It goes with the GDP in Britain this Thursday, and Friday ends up with maybe even much more important data, the CPI, monthly and annual read in the US as well as Switzerland. So with all this data, what's coming on the charts? Let's take a look on the best opportunities. Let's start with the euro dollar, which is now retesting this broken triangle. As long as this area holds and the price is above this low, I believe the euro dollar could provide some interesting push to the upside, especially if the CPI data coming on Friday would actually turn to be, let's say, against the dollar, which could happen if the data would be actually showing that the inflation rate slows down and will increase the chance that the Federal Reserve will cut the rates further on coming this year. So the euro dollar, as long as it is above this low, the bullish pressure is on. However, if it manages to turn around and break the low by making more than one waves to the downside, then I think this is a good opportunity to see the price flipping and pushing down. Gold with its historical drop during January. The biggest question comes now in the market is it over? So the way I see that, gold and silver, both pretty much similar, they are flirting around overbought conditions here. Let me circle it for you. They are flirting with these overbought conditions on the monthly chart. Also follow the same on the weekly chart, and look at this massive clearance we experience. So the biggest question, is it over? And I personally don't think so. I believe gold has more pressure to the downside. So what did we have? Was a massive drop to the downside while several lows were broken. Look at that. This low is broken, this low is broken, and this low is broken as well. So right now gold has this as a significant supply area where the sellers were actually in control. But also pay attention to the very interesting thing we have here. Look at this zone. What happened here? Major drop, instant rejection, inner candles, and sellers who push massively to the downside. This is a screaming control by the seller. So as long as these areas hold, I believe any push by the gold to the upside should provide opportunities to go lower. Dow Jones makes historical high after breaking this range, pushing it way above the 50,000. Who would believe it? I still believe it when it was 20,000, then 30,000. The world was shocked. For the first time ever, we are above the 50,000. Will that continue? Most likely. However, pay attention to this developing divergence. If the market managed to complete higher highs on the chart, lower highs on the moving average of the MACD, and then following a false breakout, so imagine this scenario, it becomes a rally but false breakout, it kicks above and retraces to close below this area while completing a divergence, watch out for this rising trend line and the recent low. If it managed to break that down, I believe sell the rallies should be a very interesting trading opportunity. But if the Dow Jones does not manage to make the false breakout and just maintains its momentum without any false breakout, then watch it out until it will continue to make the all-time highs in real time. And the final one, the Bitcoin, which makes an unbelievable drop to the downside. The biggest question is it over? And I don't think so. Even though I believe the Bitcoin is now on a very strong zone, broken resistance that acts as support, and we have this low as a demand area as long as the rising supportive line. I don't think we did have any ending signs. So on the short term, we might see the Bitcoin trying to play around here, but we have some key levels here. This is a range before sellers took control. This is a huge supply zone as well as this falling resistance line. And as long as this area holds, I believe any rally towards this area should provide further sell opportunities. So that's it for this week. Make sure you follow us in pipsy.com and subscribe to this channel to enjoy all the trading opportunities we bring here for you. Wishing you all the best.